She got me a problem, silly motherfucker, baby. Um, this shit right here is a very exclusive Philosophy 101. Now, we get right into it, just in the total state of transparency. Dude's been asking me to do this shit for a while. For whatever fucking reason, man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I, I'm stalling, you know. I'm truly fucking stalling because, like, while we for the past few years we've talked to y'all about what to do in situations and how you assert yourself and how you move and things. But, you know, that's usually based off having gone through shit and then being able to speak on the experiences. But when you in the midst of a storm, when you in the midst of all the waves of life catapulting and throwing you this way and that way, nigga, like, motherfucker, you gonna want to talk. You're not gonna want to really, speak on things because you're still trying to figure out everything that it is that you're going through. I've been feeling like there's been things that's been going on so much to the point where it's deliberately being done by the enemy to sway me, to keep me quiet. And how the hell y'all niggas gonna fucking listen or believe anything from anything that I say or anything that Deuce or Black says if we not willing to show y'all how we manage through the chaos? You know what I mean? That's my thoughts right there. So without further ado, we gonna get into it, man, and this is just gonna be some real motherfucking talk, man. So let's put the drop on, nigga, and let's get going.
It's Illosophy 101 with Illy Baby.
Viewer discretion
So like
is
I said to
advised.
y'all, I've really been avoiding this motherfucker for a little while. It's not like I ain't have anything to fucking say. It's like I had so much to say, you know? You can be used to like being this motherfucker who examines everything, right? Or someone who likes to analyze everything and then find its meaning in everything. But sometimes or eventually you're gonna run into a fucking situation where you can't think your way around it. And I felt like I was just at this space where I just haven't been able to do what it is that you know of me to do. And because it's been so long, maybe the overthinking comes into play, or maybe the fact that I didn't want to let y'all down. You know, let's make it clear first of all that I moved. I ain't in Virginia no more. I ain't in Pennsylvania no more. Motherfucking ass is in Ohio. Don't ask. But I will say it's a new environment. Uh, New people, just a lot of different fucking energy. I'll tell you that much, man. I'm not going to sit here and with like some inspirational quote or some shit, nigga. Like sometimes you just gotta get the fuck out and you gotta start fresh. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's just what it comes down to being. And I will say, to start over, it can be very uncomfortable. You know, we can sit here and we can speculate why a nigga left or why, you know, he's, you know, hot from one state to the next and all that other shit. But when you're in this journey of finding yourself, it's about finding the right pieces, finding the right components that help make you more into who you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And not to be on a spiritual aspect, but when you're doing something that's supposed to be divine and doing something for the glorification of the kingdom or whatnot, you know, there's going to be hurdles, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be things that's going to be thrown at you to try to sway you from fucking doing what you're supposed to do. What's consequently, not even a few fucking days ago, I had something go through my fucking leg. After me and Deuce had a conversation about distractions and things trying to halt you, you know, and I felt like that was not so much the wake-up call, but the straw that broke the camel's back, where I was like, you know what, pineapples, fuck this, we gotta do something. So here I am. Again, starting over, man, it's like, it's uncomfortable, like I told you. When you're relocating, people don't realize subconsciously, nigga, you losing familiarity. You're losing the concept of the routines that you used to do. And you start realizing the little things that you've always kept within you, that's always kind of kept you in a sense of being grounded. The streets definitely don't feel like it's yours. People don't move the way like you fucking used to motherfuckers moving. The humor is different. Communication is different. And what you consider to be normal, motherfuckers consider that different, and what they consider normal, you consider that different. So it's inevitably a culture shock. You know what I mean? I've had to learn something about myself through all this. It's like you can't pray for the expansion of evolving and becoming something more, and then get mad when the scenery shifts and changes. Again, it's another chapter, but the story still continues. You gotta realize that unfamiliarity is sometimes, and unfortunately, the answer to some of the things that you need to abide by and do. The thing that I want to make it understood, that the concept of starting fresh, the idea of starting fresh, like that shit don't erase your past by no fucking means. Like, understand that moving it made me realize that I am still the same person, but based on my surroundings, based on the experiences, based on the relocation, I'm now mentally relocating, spiritually relocating, and placing myself in spaces to where I can grow and be better and be stronger. Starting fresh actually doesn't make you a fresh new person, you know? Because you can unpack your clothes, you can change your address, you can hang around all these new people and everything like that, but if you're bringing the same old mentality with you, still bringing the same old anger, the same old your fears, the defense mechanisms, all these components that, not going to say that toxifies who you are, but if you're coming with all that same baggage, are you clearly serving the purpose of walking into that stride of something new that you actually said that you want? I've asked myself, like, what is it that needs to come with me this time around, rather than having these same assumptions, rather than having these same habits? I've even asked myself, what version of me has served its purpose that doesn't need to re-exist anymore? Like, at the end of the day, man, it's all about survival. You know, that's all we do. We just survive. We just gradually trying to move and be better than who the fuck we were the day before. It's not so much about me trying to erase who the fuck I am or who I was, but I'm trying to understand which parts of me are now necessary to help continue moving forward and progressing and becoming the man that I'm supposed to be. So, and moving on. In the mindset of moving forward, I truly believe that moving forward also meant me moving forward with my divorce. I'm gonna be very careful of all the words I'm gonna say from this point on. Because I'm who I am, I'm sure everybody is probably expecting me to talk a lot of fucking shit. Pop off, talk very ignorant. That's not what this is gonna be. Let me just, get that out the motherfucking way. That's not what this is gonna be. I really truly wanna respectfully speak on this as carefully as possible. Because y'all gotta understand that with growth, even for me, growth isn't always about exposing the motherfucker. Sometimes growth is actually being able to tell the truth without needing another person to look terrible or crazy or however the fuck y'all want to, make it out to be. Is this time period difficult? Has it been difficult? So, do I wish things would have happened or moved differently? I mean, who wouldn't? Unfortunately, things are what they are, and things happen the way they have happened. Like, I need to make this understood first and foremost for anything else. Like, I have nothing but that utmost respect for her and her family. And regardless of how this story is ended, there was a time in my life where that story actually meant something to me. You really don't ever need to disrespect yesterday just because you're trying to build a better tomorrow. And I wanted to make it understood that I want nothing but the best for her. Peace and happiness, healing, success, whatever it is in her life that's big for her. Because divorce doesn't always mean war and shit, Like, that's a win right there. Being able to see eye to eye and being able to not carry so much resentment, that shit like that takes time. But to finally be at a space where conversations could be had. I guess the last thing I will say though is that closure isn't always somebody apologizing. Sometimes closure is just accepting reality without needing any revenge for it. I'm not too arrogant to not publicly say I'm sorry for anything that I've ever done. Maybe that's why I avoided doing this episode as long as I did. Because when I talk into this microphone, I can't hide behind the jokes, Everything that's usually happening around me. I don't know what y'all learned about me so far, but when it's me and the mic, It's legitimately me and my truth. And Illosophy 101 cannot be about exposing ideals if I'm not willing to put myself in check. I had to come to the realization of certain realities. I could have handled that better. Yeah, nigga, I fucked up. I was wrong there. You know? Sometimes I let fear speak louder than my wisdom. Self-improvement isn't always about standing in the mirror and telling yourself, good things every fucking morning, dog. Sometimes it's just standing there long enough to admit, nigga, you need to get your shit together. You know what I mean? Understand that connections are always built through truth. I've been thinking a lot lately. I've been thinking heavily. What makes a relationship, from romantic to friendships, to family, to business, and like, what are the components that actually make these things work? It's like one thing right now that I feel that solidifies and is the glue to like everything. It's simply saying that information matters. Not surveillance, not control, not needing to know every damn thing somebody does. Just talking from the spirit of openness. Because when people are trying to build something together, withholding important shit, it just really doesn't protect the structure of what you're trying to build. It actually weakens it. And you gotta understand that people can't make the best decisions with only half-assed information. People can't understand the whole validity of a situation that they're constantly forced to guess about. And you gotta understand, when communication disappears, nigga, that's when assumptions show the fuck up. That's where fear actually equates and then fills in the fucking blanks. Your traumas, your past woes, all those type of things come about and start filling the blanks. And long before you realize that you have two individuals who are supposed to be building that are now fighting stories that neither one of them actually said to one another. And I think that's why honesty actually truly matters. And it's not about being technically truthful, because you got to understand that being transparent enough for somebody to understand you, that's the difference. People don't just meet for no reason at all. If you want to look at this from a spiritual aspect, and not like God puts people in your life, good or bad, to mold and shape you. There's people that come into your life specifically just to love you. There are some people that come into your life to fully teach you. Motherfuckers come to challenge your ass. Some actually come into your life to expose things that you wouldn't actually even know or noticed if they hadn't shown up. Sorry. Sometimes relationships prosper, but sometimes, unfortunately, some of them end. And sometimes when something is real and has potential, that's when everything starts actually attacking it. Sometimes the testimony is while being in the process of construction. In the construction, you're going to make mistakes. In the construction, you're going to have discomfort. In the construction, you're going to actually have times where you're going to have to rebuild what you were already building upon. Now, maybe the idea of starting over isn't so much about becoming somebody completely different. I'm sure that's what society would have us all believe and think. Maybe sometimes it's about finding the courage, or having enough courage to become the better person that life has been trying to pull you to become this entire time. So for those that have been listening, man, all I'm gonna say to you, no matter where the fuck you are, stop being ashamed of the building. Stop assuming unfamiliar means something wrong. And pay attention to the connections that are placed in your life. And then when the vision enters, figure out who the fuck the real enemy is. Because sometimes it's just fear. Sometimes it can be just your pride. But sometimes, just sometimes, it actually could be you. And I think that's the most uncomfortable part of self-improvement that nobody ever really wants to speak on. This has been Illosophy 101. As you can see, we still pushing. We still moving forward. You know, shout out to my brothers Deuce Black. Shout out to my Boulevard boys, man. Man, what up? Brick, what up? Canaro, what up? Shout out to my boy Steven. Shout out to my nephew Roman. What's up, little Negro? And most importantly, I'm gonna just take a moment of silence for my uncle, James Owen Barber. Miss you, Uncle. May you rest in peace. Legacy 16 forever. Ghost.
It's Illosophy 101 with Illy Baby.